you set me up and you said that we were gonna applaud the parents, but I gotta be honest. I find this to be, Jonas, and I'm not trying to be, hey, the old guy, hey, you get off my lawn kind of guy and all that. But I am surprised at where parents are in this oversensitive, overhyped. Like, Jonas, you're younger than I am, but you didn't grow up like the kids who grow up today, where you can't leave your yard. Parents have never let you go to the park by yourself. Do you know what I mean? Where they're totally overprotective.
Yeah, my parents were like that big time.
When I was growing up in New York in the 70s, we would get on our bikes, I swear to you, Jonas, at 9 o'clock on Saturday and ride all over the city in New York. Ride. Just keep riding. No cell phones. No where are you? Have you been abducted? Did some crazy man come and grab you? Nothing. And you know what? The only time you got in trouble is if you weren't home in time for dinner at 6 o'clock. They didn't know where you were for 8 or 9 hours. And now parents, I have friends who they've never let their kids out of their sight. Never a sleepover, nothing. You know what I mean? Like they just won't they won't chance it. And here are all these parents who have college football players on Division I, and the whole world has shut down. They've stopped the Olympics. Everything has been in college. All the sports have been cut off. The NCAA tournament, which has a $6 billion contract with CBS, stopped. Everything.
Yeah.
But God forbid somebody looking out for your kids during a pandemic and you are outraged that your kids can't play. They shut down Division II and III college football. Not a peep. They could shut down the Ivy League. Not a peep. But Division I, you feel like it's your birthright. Is it because you think your kid's going to make it to the NFL and you're looking at it as a financial thing rather than saying this doesn't make sense? It's unbelievable to where we are. I can't get over the parents who are so selfish, so self-centered, and so caught up on their kid playing Division I football that they'd be willing to chance their health long term. And those same damn parents, Jonas, will be the ones with the lawsuits when their kid winds up with something years down the road. But right now, oh my God, how dare you, Big Ten? How dare you, Pac-12?
Yeah,
you guys got some nerve.
Yeah. By the way, for people wondering why Rob Parker is so hot and bothered, all right, why we went from doggy bags to him taking out a group of football parents, here's the backstory. So according to Sports Illustrated, there is a plan expected to be introduced by the ACC in which they would send home 80% of the student body and leave only 20% there. And in that 20% would be the football team.
What?
Now the thought process is that kids can take these classes online. So if it's going to jeopardize the football season, make the kids just do online classes, and that way it creates a safer environment so that we can get the football season in. And you're upset at the fact that parents are okay with this. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, yes, because the football players are part of the student body.
Yes.
And if you're sending the kids home, football players should go home too. Everybody. The idea, the only reason that they're pushing this through is so that they get paid. It's so that these big schools, especially the SEC, they just want their money.
Yes.
They don't care about what the ramifications are.
Yes.
I don't understand how a parent could sign off on it to say all of the rest of college football is shut down, but these handful of schools want their payday that my kid gets none of, and that they want my kid to potentially sign a waiver, which only tells you that they can't protect your safety, so they don't want to be liable. How in the world? If they told me that they would be liable and that the coaches would pool all their money that they were going to make this year into some sort of trust fund to take care of people down the road when they're sick and they take the coronavirus home and kill grandparents and uncles and aunt or whatever it is, then maybe I would buy into that. I'm not buying it.
But it's the same reason. A couple of things. Number one, you're also the same guy who says you should never take a pay cut. A player should never take a pay cut, right? For their team?
Absolutely not. That's not your job.
Okay, so then why should the coach divvy up his money so that these players can look after their parents? Why is it his problem?
Because you're asking them to play in a pandemic.
Okay.
And wait a minute. You don't think people are losing money on the Olympics? Of them shutting down the Olympics? A worldwide event? Do you know how much money was lost on that? And the idea that you can't have football for one season when everything else was shut down, as far as these are not professionals getting paid. If anything, I would use this as Exhibit A on why college football or college players should be unionized and be looked at as college employees. The only people who have to go to work are college employees. Students should not be in this situation.
All right, and that's fine. And there's a lot to that conversation, and a lot of that conversation I agree with you when it comes to the idea of players being treated differently or getting different compensation. But as far as just in regards to this and the parents being okay with their kids going and wanting to play football, it's the same reason your parents let you ride a unicycle around Harlem when you were a kid and come back by 6 o'clock.
It wasn't a unicycle.
Okay, well, whatever it was a bike with no seat probably, but you know what I mean. Like they let you ride around Brooklyn and they let you get back.
I fell in love with that bike.
No, you did.
Yes, Big Daddy.
But the point being, they're letting their kids have a certain level of freedom and chase their dreams and do what they want to do. I don't have a problem with these parents saying, hey, you want to play ball? We understand this is a dream of yours. This is a lifelong dream, and you want to go play football. And if you're okay with understanding that this is going to come with some limitations and what you're able to do, as long as you're able to go do what you want to do, we have no problem with it. And guess what? I have no problem with it. I'm not against anybody deciding they want to stay indoors or wear a mask when they're driving or wear a welder's mask when they're in the produce aisle. I'm not against anybody walking around with a gas mask on. If that's what you feel like makes you protected from whatever you believe is the level of intensity of the coronavirus, that's okay. Here's the part I'm against. I'm against the idea that just because someone doesn't want to live their life like that they're wrong. That's the part I'm against. So
no, I hear that, but this is the problem, Jonas. The biggest problem is that the kids, the adults are supposed to be the one. These are not grown men, no matter how big they are. These are guys who are young guys who adults should be looking out for. It's the same reason why after a concussion, they won't let you go back in the game. Oh, no, coach, I want to play. You have to give me my right to make a decision on my own whether or not to play. No, they take your helmet. They take your helmet. The doctor tells you you can't go in with a busted leg. I don't care if it's the fourth quarter or if it's the championship. It doesn't matter. They make that decision for you. And in cases of safety, the adult should make the decision for the kids, and that's how it should be.
But Rob, and listen, I totally agree with you. And it's the old adage, sometimes you got to save a fighter from himself, and that happens all the time. If you let every boxer who's ever been wobbled or stunned, if you asked them, 10 out of 10 are going to tell you, yeah, I'm ready to go, I want to continue. Even though we all know they're in serious trouble, and guys have died because of that. So, of course, these guys are going to want to go out there and want to play. Absolutely, 100%. But you're talking about instances in which there's a reaction to something that definitely happened, like a concussion or like a player who's injured, and asking them whether or not, and sometimes you have to take the helmet from them. Sometimes you have to call off the fight. But we're talking about what could happen. Man, the numbers are telling us that these kids, even if they get it, 99+% are going to be okay, and majority are going to be asymptomatic.
That's why we have kids not going to school all over this country. That's why I'm teaching at USC virtually and online.
Well, you're not allowed back on campus. Let's be honest here. After the shenanigans you pulled in the lunchroom, you're not allowed back on campus. But that's a whole other story.
That might be the case. but you know what I'm saying is, I get it. But I'd rather be safe than sorry, and because everybody else has taken the L, you're not special. You're no different. And you know it, Jonas. If these schools weren't making the money off of these big TV contracts, would they be playing, yes or no?
Oh, no, they wouldn't be playing.
Okay.
Of course it's about money.
It's a money grab, and I'm just saying we need to stop with this about putting people in harm's way to make a buck. That's what I resent. That's what bothers me, is that they don't care about these kids and they don't care about the ramifications. And 5-10 years from now, you won't be able to find Jim Harbaugh and Nick Saban because they'll be off retired on some yacht somewhere,
damn right, laughing
their way all the way to Hong Kong. saying what? Oh no, my football team from 2020, 20 kids died from that team. Oh, what a shame.
By the way, I love how you got Nick Saban taking a yacht to Hong Kong. I feel like that's the first place he would go. Hey, where do you want to go? Bahamas or Hawaii? No, let's go to Hong Kong. That's where I want to go.
He wants to get some tailor-made suits made for cheap.
You and I were discussing this issue of college football. Apparently, you don't want parents to have the ability to let their kids run free. You, Rob Parker,
no.
want parents to lock their kids up and not allow them outside. That's the way I took it after what we discussed.
And you know what? Rightfully so. I'm glad you did. It's just a worldwide pandemic going on, and they somehow feel like it's their birthright to play football. Division I football, of course. Only Division I.
Of course.
All right. You ready to kick it off? 877-99 on Fox. Let's do it. Johnny in Birmingham, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I agree with you, Rob, 100%. This folks like Jonas coming on and trumpeting, we should let these kids play. I don't know if Jonas has any kids or not.
Yeah.
I don't know how he feels about his kids being at school with the pandemic going on. Maybe he lets them run around without a mask and it's not a big deal and he doesn't care. And hey, if my kids get it, hey, they'll get over it. It'll be fine. They'll be okay until it's not.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy of this whole system has been exposed, and I think it is. I think this is. I love college football as much or more than anybody else. I'd love to be watching college football right now.
Doesn't sound like it.
Tell me excuse me?
Doesn't sound like it.
No, go ahead, Johnny. Your point is well taken, and I love that you're a college football fan. You love college football, but you understand what's going on. And, Johnny, you're right. It's the hypocrisy has been exposed. They don't care about the kids. It's about the TV money.
And Jonas is on here now. Do you wear a mask when you go out in public?
I do. I do.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay for the kids to go out there and play.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They'll get over it.
Johnny.
It's not a big deal.
Hey, Johnny. So you care about the kids, right?
Of course I do.
So you've seen the long-term effects of football, period. You know the possibilities of that happening. But
that's not like a worldwide pandemic.
Hold on. If we're going to talk about hypocrisy, let's talk about hypocrisy. He's okay with a guy going over the middle and getting a helmet to his rib cage or to his temple, but he's not okay with somebody going to a place where they're going to be tested almost every single day to make sure they don't have the coronavirus to go play that same sport that he's a big fan of.
Then let me ask you this, Jonas, and thanks, Johnny, for the call. Then why would they have to sign a waiver? You just told me everybody's going to be good because they're going to be tested. Why do they need to sign a waiver?
Because, of course, the liability. Of course, it's going to be there.
They're going to be good. They're healthy.
Exactly.
Because you said the testing is good, so there's not going to be anybody on the field with coronavirus, right?
But here's the best part. You're talking about, okay, well, then why would they need to sign a liability waiver? Rob, the point of the matter is, if we were going to a place in which, hey, guys, there's a possibility that, there's there's not going to be any testing, and you're going to get there, and everybody's going to be in trouble. But just so you know, there's the risk because it's a contact sport. If that were the case, I totally understand the discussion. But if we actually trust the testing process, and everybody has been preaching, we need testing, finally we get testing, and now the testing's not good enough.
But the testing is not independent. Because the people testing are the school people who want to play football. You can't buy it. There have been players already, Jonas, who have come out and said that they tested positive and their results weren't reported.
And those
are from football players who are saying shenanigans are going on. Let's get to some more calls. We'll talk more about this. Mark in Sacramento, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mark?
Hell yes. Hey, what's up, Rob and Jonas? Hell yeah, Rob. You're absolutely right. These coaches ain't telling the truth because they just want to play. These suckers will sell out their mother for this money. We already know that for what they did with the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yes.
They will sell out anybody for money. So I don't want to hear that crap, Jonas. And the other thing,
Evil guys,
you obviously don't have kids. I do,
guys.
and they play football.
Yeah.
And you know why? Here's something as a parent. I wouldn't want my kids to bring it home and give it to my wife who has a preconditioned sickle cell trait. How about that, Jonas?
Yeah,
it's not about food. It's not about that, Jonas.
How about you have an option? Don't play. Like, what's wrong with that?
Goodness.
Yeah, you have an option. Don't play. So why should, just because there's a pre-existing condition where you're at doesn't mean the entire place should shut down. Like, that's how this works.
But it's up to the same way that the NCAA shut down Division 2 and 3. Division 1 should be right there with them. That's the point.
And by the way, how about everybody that lines up to kiss your ass when they come on the air?
What?
That's disgusting. No. You're paying off people to disguise their voices so that they come on the air and agree with you. And I love the whole idea because I don't have kids. Neither does Rob Parker.
But I'm looking out for the kids. I care about the kids.
What is happening here?
You mean I have kids that I don't know about?
Of course.
I don't have kids.